Okay, so you made it to retirement. You worked for years, you grinded, you saved, you planned, you thrived in bull markets, you survived bear markets, and you got yourself to retirement. Okay, now what? How do you make sure that you are truly maximizing your retirement in the best ways possible? How do you make sure you don't make any major mistakes that undo all of the hard work that got you to this point? In this video, I'm going to share the 5 worst things you could do after you retire. Hey everybody, I'm Jonathan Rankin. I'm the founder and CEO of Theorem Wealth Management. My firm and I have been helping clients plan and execute their retirement plans by focusing on 3 key areas: maximizing retirement income, optimizing investments, and reducing taxes. If you're thinking about retiring or you're already retired, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our retirement videos or any episodes of our retirement podcast called The Retire Once Show. Retirement is an exciting time, and it should hopefully inspire you to do things that you've always dreamed about. I mean, let's face it, by the time you get there, you've earned it. But I've seen many people do things right after they retire that they ultimately end up regretting, which takes away from the joy of what should be a happy retirement. So let's take a look at the 5 worst things you could do right after you retire and what you should do instead. Number 1, immediately buying large ticket items. This could be anything from a second home to a boat to an RV. I mean, even if you budgeted for these items in your retirement plan, your life schedule just changed. You now have all the free time. There is no more clocking in and clocking out. And while leading up to retirement, all these purchases may have seemed like a good idea at the time. And that's because hopefully it was part of a retirement dream of what retirement looked like for you. However, now that you're in retirement, that can easily change. And you might realize that you don't want to spend your entire summer on a boat or weeks on the road in an RV. Or maybe that second home that you wanted to buy actually is in a destination that you don't want to visit all the time. So instead of making those large purchases immediately, we recommend you use the first 6 months to a year engaging in those activities without making a large purchase. Whether that's renting the RV or the boat, or renting an Airbnb in the location of where you'd like that second home to be, just to make sure that whatever that large purchase is fits your new lifestyle. Even if renting that boat or house or RV costs you a little bit more money in the event you eventually decide to move forward with the purchase, it's well worth it because of the cost, stress, and frustration that comes along with regretting and trying to undo a large purchase. That brings us to number 2, ignoring your retirement plan. A retirement plan is not like a trust or will that you just want to review every few years. It's something that's constantly changing because of all the factors that go into it. And whether that's movement in the stock market or changes in inflation, both of which we've seen recently, you might get to retirement with a plan that you're going to spend a certain amount per year. And then all of a sudden, circumstances change, whether it was a large drop in the market or a large expenditure that you weren't planning on. Those events might not necessarily impact your life today, but could dramatically impact your long-term retirement years down the road. It's like having a goal to lose weight. You work hard in the gym, you diet, and over time, you hit your goal because you had a plan for how you're going to go about losing weight. But what if you never stepped foot in a gym again? You ate whatever you wanted to, and you got on the scale 3 years later. My guess is the number on that scale isn't going to be where you wanted it to be when you initially set your goal up. Instead, we recommend you establish a routine around how you review your retirement plan. This means not just reviewing your investments, but it also means reviewing your spending, your 5, 10, 15, and 20-year outlook. The one thing you don't want in retirement are surprises when it comes to your money. That brings us to number 3, not having a routine. One of the common things that I've seen with people retiring is not having a plan of what they're going to do with retirement. So much planning goes into the financial aspects of how much money are you going to withdraw every year? Where's the money going to come from? What are you going to do with Social Security? How are you going to take your pension? I mean, there's so many decisions that lead up to retirement, and they're all typically financially related, which is great. And as a financial advisor, I believe that's very important. But remember, retirement is more than an income stream. Retirement is hopefully a lifestyle that you get to lead. And most people forget about planning that lifestyle. I mean, what do you want to do? What's going to keep you busy? What are you going to enjoy doing? In fact, Ken Dykewald from AgeWave, which is a consulting firm that specializes in age-related issues, says that adding a loose structure to each day, allotting certain types of activities to mornings or afternoon, gives you focus and patterns to work from. That leads me to number 4. Ignoring your social life. Most people spend decades at work before retirement that is filled with coworkers. Now, this isn't to say that you liked every single person you worked with, but those daily interactions with people, whether you want to admit it or not, help fulfill your day and give you a sense of social life. After retiring, those random conversations around the office just don't happen anymore. Even if you have friends and family, it is important to make plans to spend time with them. Because I hear all too often, I have all the time in the world now, I'll eventually get together with people. But research shows that social isolation is as high a health risk factor as obesity and smoking 15 cigarettes a day. In fact, those who are socially disconnected are more at risk of high blood pressure, coronary disease, stroke. They have a faster breakdown of cognitive skills and a greater likelihood of dementia because the mind is less active. They have a greater decline of functional skills such as walking or climbing, and they have a weakened immune system, possibly linked to stress. That brings me to the number 5 worst thing you could do after you retire. But before I jump into that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Our firm wants to continue to help people achieve an amazing retirement, and we want you to be a part of that. So hit the subscribe button so you can check out every video we put out and every episode of our retirement podcast called The Retire Once Show. Okay, now for the 5th worst thing you could do after you retire, and that is underspending because of fear. I completely understand that running out of money is one of the largest fears that most retirees have. It's like you went skydiving and the parachute is your savings and you're hoping that it's there to catch you when you're falling to the ground. But all too often, I see clients who underspend in their retirement. They don't take the vacation they planned on or buy some of the things that they've always budgeted for, all for the fear of running out of money. There has to be a balance between overspending and being too frugal. Now, I get the market is scary right now, and nobody knows when the bear market's going to end. But that's why you plan and factor that into your retirement plan. For most people that retire in their 60s, they have anywhere between 5 and 15 years to be physically able to travel the way they planned on before they were in retirement. After working with people for over 15 years in retirement, very rarely do I see people over the age of 75 travel. What I'm getting at is that there is a window of time where you have your health and you have time to get the most out of your retirement years. Putting things off because of what's going on in the market should only be done after thorough planning and not just because of headlines that you see on CNBC. This is where keeping an active retirement plan, either by yourself or with a financial advisor, can be extremely helpful. Nobody wants to spend to the point that they're running out of money, but you also didn't work so hard for retirement that you feel too scared to enjoy. By actively planning during retirement, you will have a really good understanding of how you can maximize your retirement spending without the fear of running out of money. So just to recap, the 5 worst things you could do after retirement. Number 1, immediately start buying large ticket items. Number 2, ignoring your retirement plan. Number 3, not having a routine. Number 4, ignoring your social life. And number 5, underspending. I hope you found this video useful. And if you feel like you don't have the confidence in your retirement that you would like, use the link in the description below to schedule some time with our team. We would be happy to go through a detailed retirement plan for you at no cost. Before I get out of here, one question that we get all the time is, how much money do I actually need to retire? So to learn more about how to answer that question, make sure you check out the video that comes up next, where I go into detail on how much money you really need to retire. All right, I'll see you there.